Hello, this is Daniel Gygax with the College Football Mafia. Today we're going to talk about private equity. The term has been bantered about quite a bit lately. Now, there's going to be a lot of pitfalls. I'm going to go through most of the pitfalls that you're going to see that really work against private equity, especially whenever it comes down to public universities. First, let's get right down to it. I'm not against private equity in general. Businesses everywhere have used it for decades. Without it, a lot of the companies that you see today would not exist without it. Somebody coming up with money saying, hey, I will back your idea. The problem is, whenever it comes down to universities, things get complicated. First, I'm not against businesses being a part of universities. You can have the official whatever of a university. You can have business partners. West Virginia has Learfield for all their licensing rights. That's fine. That's great. No problem with that. The thing is, whenever you start bringing in private equity partners, they're going to want something. And there's better ways that universities have to bring cash in. There's general fundraising, like say, hey, we're going to fundraise for this building or this project, and we're going to put this name on it. Happens all the time. If it's a public institution, guess what? Municipal bonds. Municipal bond rate is around 3.5% for 10 years. Money's cheap on municipal bonds. Now, this is where things get more complicated. Let's say that private equity fund says, hey, you haven't met your standard. What do we get back? What collateral is going to be used? If it's a state-sponsored university, is the state of whatever going to sit there and say, hey, we're going to mortgage our building. We're going to mortgage this stadium. We're going to mortgage this arena. We're going to mortgage this field house to go through and say, hey, we want this big money right now. That's where things are going to end up getting even worse, because now you're going to have legislatures, governors, politicians that are going to put their 2 cents in saying, well, we're not happy with the way this arrangement is. And things are going to get messy. Here's the other one. Let's say that all of a sudden things fall apart, and it can happen. And let's say like Florida State, where Florida State said, we are going to use sovereign immunity to get out of this contract. Well, now let's say that private equity fund, they're going to end up in court. It's going to cost them tons of billable hours to just try to reach back that money. And here's the last part of it. Just the bureaucratic nature of what you would have with college athletics. Private equity firms want to go in and trim the fat. The problem is, let's say your gymnastic program is not making money. They don't. Let's say your wrestling program is not making money. Normally they don't. But those are popular programs at a lot of universities. Say softball, which is not making money. Now all of a sudden you're now looking at, okay, what does the NCAA require with Title IX? That's the big part right there, is now you're going to have to deal with the Department of Education. So it's not going to be as easy as you think whenever it comes down to bringing a private equity company into a university.